Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to Life Below TV. It is Leyanne Oliveira. Thank you so much for tuning in. I am so excited you are here. I am currently at a park near my house, enjoying the day. This is really my workstation, which is just amazing and incredible, and I'm just so grateful to be here. So, as I'm sitting here, I'm thinking about different things. I was like, hey, let's put up a video of, what's been going on with me, what I've been learning, so I could share. So again, thank you for being here in my corner of the internet. If you wasn't here, then there would be no one to talk to. So again, I am grateful you are here. So of course, as a self-mastery coach, what I do every single day with women is really help them on their personal development journey. Specifically, my favorite part is the spiritual side, the metaphysical, but we talk about everything from mindset to body to spirit. And when we think about this personal development, this journey that so many of us are on and so many of us want to be on, there are two things that I think are so key and important for you to know. And that's kind of what I'm going to share tonight, or today. So, the number one topic or thing that you need to know is that growth is a natural process, but the speed is something you are in control of. Okay? So, the law of the universe is growth must happen, so it will always happen. That's why, even though a 1-month-old is not intentionally wanting to grow, through the food it eats, through, the environment that it's in, it still does develop. However, there is only a few, and it's a very small percentage of us that actually evolve into an extraordinary place or stage that others are in awe of. And people that I'm in awe of that I could think about and mention is people like Oprah, people like Michelle Obama, women like Maya Angelou. These women were intentional about their growth. So even though the growth was already happening, they were also part of the speed. They were taking charge of the growth instead of letting it happen accidentally. All right, so as you're in your journey, looking to grow, looking to expand, looking to really become more of who you already are in an expansive way, you wanting to reach your higher self, something that you have to remind yourself of every day is that even though you are not in full control of your growth, right, because it's going to continuously happen, at the same time you are in full control. And I know that's so contradicting, but it's just, there is this, I believe, this even amount of shared power that we have with God, because I think we are co-creating our lives. But many of us, we stay at the mindset of, it'll just happen. Wherever I'm meant to be, I will go there. Maybe that kind of success is not meant for me. Maybe that kind of growth is not meant for me. I will just slowly get there. And what I'm here to say today is that you are meant for amazing, incredible things. Your spirit is so magnificent. And, you are part of God. You are a piece of God. So to know that is to know that you are created beyond belief, and you are limitless. But the change and the growth is in your hands, and you do have power over it. So you have to always be intentional. Although growth is a natural process, you are in control of the speed. So you might, let's see, and when I say speed, I mean the time frame. So even though I am on earth years, I'm 25, my growth could be of a 40-year-old because of how much I implement, how much growth is so important to me, how much I'm constantly self-inquiring, how much I'm constantly asking questions, how much I'm constantly applying what I learn, versus others who excuse me, are not taking full control of their growth. They're not being intentional every single day of what they're exposing themselves to, what they're reading, what they're learning. And I have two beautiful young ladies who are playing in the playground near me, so their laughter is amazing. They are playing around. So again, you have to be able to be intentional about your growth, you have to take control. You have to take your power back and allow yourself to really live in intention. And the intention is growth. The intention is elevation. The intention is expansion of your consciousness. You have to constantly have a hold and reclaim the power that is yours of your growth. Do not give that much power over your life to someone else or to just the forces of the universe. And something so key also is if you are not intentional, somebody else will be intentional for you. So if you are not taking control over your life, if you are not the person that have a life map, a life strategy, a life goal, a life expectation, a life strategy, what will happen to you is you will get under somebody else's intention. So for example, if I start a business and I am intentional about the business I want to create, and you are not, somehow my intention, because it's so powerful, because it's sourced by me, I'm being intentional about it. Because you don't have a life map and a strategy, what will tend to happen is you will go underneath my intention. So in a sense, you could just be blind. I could say, hey, so and so, would you like to become a marketing director, strategist in my company? And even that's not what you want to do, you will just go with the flow and fall under as my marketing director, instead of having a life map. And when I ask you something like that, you could say, actually no, I'm not really interested in that position. I'm not interested. That's not the intention I have for my life. So having the intention for your growth is extremely important. Okay, so that's number one key thing that you have to know about your personal growth. And it's intention, right? Intention for your growth. And then number two is know thyself. This is so important because I truly believe, and the more I examine life, the more I noticed that we have this life backwards. A lot of us will go to college, or we'll go to school, or we'll get into some kind of training, some trade. And what we tend to do is right after the trade, right after college, we get right into our field. And what tends to happen is a lot of us will tend to be extremely unhappy, which is what happened to me. And that is only because I did life backwards. I didn't study enough about who I was and what I loved and how I came alive and what my skills and my talents was. And I went strictly into just thinking like, okay, let me just figure this out. I want to do something that involves business. I want to do something that involves money. I want to do something that involves helping people financially, helping people become financially stable. So I ended up in accounting. Although I still think that was part of my path, and it brought me to where I am today. I still don't think that I had to potentially go through that times of college. I didn't have to go through 4 years of college to realize what I actually loved doing. All I had to do was self-inquire. I really had to get to know myself, and it takes time, and it's a process, and it's not something people do, which a lot of people tend to be unhappy because they don't know enough about themselves. So they do life backwards because they get into a profession, then when they get stuck in it and they're unhappy, then they do the self-discovery process. And a lot of us call this the midlife crisis, and I think that's what happens. I think you finally self-inquire after you've been in a marriage for so long and you're unhappy. You start asking yourself why, or you've been at a company for 40 years and you're unhappy, then you start inquiring why, and then that questioning gets you to yourself, gets you to that silent spot, which is you. Again, I'm at a park, so excuse the noise, but I hope you can hear me. So again, know thyself. You have to ask yourself questions, and the question could be this way. So a lot with my clients, what I would do is I would do a life map. And I use a life map exercise for so many different things. But when you are self-inquiring, this is so important because a lot of what makes up who we are is in our subconscious. And these are memories, these are traumas, these are experiences, these are words and things people have said to us that we might tend to forget. However, it is embedded in our subconscious, which controls about 99% of what we do. So what I asked them to do is create a life map, from 0 to however old you are, and then kind of just map it out. Create this kind of road of what led you here, and just think about big events that matter that you actually remember. So for me, it could be 8 years old, I migrated to the United States. Then at 12 years old, was when I really started to understand the relationship and the dynamic between my father and my mother. Then at 18, I graduated high school and went to college. And then at 2014, when I was 21, I graduated college. I would just do these big, milestones in my life, or especially also relationships that I've had. I'll put them in there, like, okay, broke up with someone when I was 16, my biggest heartbreak. I'll just kind of map it out so I could see it. Because first, you are seeing it. It's so important because you are finally seeing your life map. You're seeing your life outside of yourself, no longer in your mind. So you're able to analyze it and be more, in a sense, more critical and analytical about what you're looking at. And, then it's much easier for you to be able to actually analyze or fill in the gaps of other places where you maybe don't know what happened for you. So for example, for me, what I noticed is from the age of, when I did the life map, from the age of 15 to about 23, I had been in relationships. They were long relationships, 3 years, 4 years. So that's something I had to inquire of myself. Why am I constantly, in a sense, in a relationship? Even though I think I am healthy in the sense of not seeking love, am I really not seeking love? And if I'm not seeking love, what kind of love am I not seeking? And what love am I seeking if I'm constantly in a need to be in a relationship? So that was critical for me to understand about myself. And as I kept inquiring, I started to notice that in my life, the big events that happened in my life outside of relationship with men were with women. Was, at 12, when I realized the relationship that my mom had with my father, just that dynamic, and how much I felt the need to save her. Then I noticed how much from the life map, then I started to get memories. Things started coming to me, like how much my grandmother meant to me, how much I really have been raised by, women, strong women. Then led me to see how much that affected me into the leader that I am, which usually I am, I guess, the leader of the pack for that reason, because of the need to wanting to always constantly save women. Just, I didn't choose that characteristic about myself. It chose me. My life story chose me. Also, what I noticed was I went back to other specific places, which included my journaling. And then in my journaling, I always mentioned women. I always mentioned how much I thought they were magnificent, how much I didn't think they got enough credit, how much, constantly in my life, and I seen a misrepresentation of women and not enough. And not enough, female faces representing what we really stood for. And then through the midst of all that self-inquiry is when I realized if I was going to impact anyone, it had to be women. If I was going to spend, 100 hours a week learning, practicing, engaging with any community, I wanted to be a community of women. And in the midst of that is when I started to uncover things, when I started to learn more about myself. And as I learned more about myself, I learned more about my purpose. I learned more about what I love, what I don't love. I learned more about what is my yeses, my nos. I started to learn about boundaries for myself. I started to learn how to, what I needed to personally grow. For relationships, I needed alone time. I really needed to be by myself because I hadn't experienced solitude for a long time. Just really waking up and not having anyone to respond to, waking up and not knowing what I was going to do and who I was going to do it with. I needed that time because I needed the silence. So for you, on your personal journey, I want you to please know thyself. Inquire about everything. Inquire about every emotion that you feel on a daily basis. Inquire, what makes you come alive. Think about the places, there's so many different ways we could do this. With my clients, I do it so many different ways. You could even go on to, listing out emotions and thinking about the ones that you are constantly in more. Circle them. Okay, these are I'm always in aggravation. I'm always in a loving mood. I'm always in an aggressive mood. I am just circle the emotions that you feel like you're mostly staged in, and then ask yourself why. Do so many different exercises with yourself. Start tuning in. Get to know about who you are. The more you get to know about yourself, the more you grow, the more that you expand, the more that the world notices you, the more that you become happy, the more that you are fulfilling your purpose on this earth, which is so important. And something so key to understand about knowing thyself is once you grow personally, yourself, right? Not professionally, personally. You know, that value, you could bring it to anywhere because that value is you. Versus if you are you're increasing your value at work, if you're increasing your value professionally, in a sense you are increasing the value of your company, you are increasing the value of your job, and not necessarily increasing your value, although you could be, but it's not as transferable as when you increase your value as a person. So on your personal development journey, as I close out, please remember, be intentional about your growth.
You guys see that?
And also make sure that you know yourself. Make sure that you inquire as much as you can about who you are, what you like, what you don't like, what your life story is about, what has it shaped you to do on this earth. Because our purpose, our life story was not chosen by us. It chose us. We didn't choose it. It wasn't chosen by us. We didn't say, this is what I wanted to do. This is, this is the kind of parents I want. This is what experiences I want to go through. This is how I want to grow throughout my years. No. It chose you. Your purpose chose you. Your life story chose you. And it is no one's job but yours to tune in, learn more, and then share it with the world. And then share it with us because we need it. You are a piece of us. You are a piece of our reality. You are a piece of our salvation. You are a piece of our growth. You are a piece of the masterpiece that is the universe, that is this reality that we get to live. So again, be intentional and know thyself on your personal growth journey. Thank you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Feel free to follow me. I am on Instagram mainly, so follow me on that platform. I am also on Facebook. And if you have any questions, please comment below, interact with me. I would love to get to know you further. And definitely tune in to other videos that I have on my page. All right, peace and love. Thank you so much again. I am so grateful you are here. Namaste.